Hi everyone, my name is Edgar Joan Martinez. Today we're going to talk about technological competence. This is about the TIC, and this competence is the most important because we have to keep in mind, for example, like a student or as a teacher. For example, there are three moments, the most important, but I can take into account. For example, number one, explore the moment. And there is the explore, for example, the tools and different weights, what's the technological management, and how can we use, for example, different tools, and how can we use in the real weight the technological. Number two, integrate the moment can match from how to design content and share how to use the tool. For example, we can share different app with our students or our teachers. Yes, but I can design different evaluate or exercise. There are many ways, but I can use it. Okay. Number three, innovation moment that has great experience and technological management with wide variety tools, and it's from the most basic or most professional help students and is efficacious, for example, weight. Yes, that is the most important technological competence, and we have to keep in mind how can we share it with our partners, classmates, teachers. Yes, we have to explore it, and at the same time, how can we use a real way. I use the technological different app on the L phones. That is for the reason we have to take it to account in that time when we can use different topic like I. In this second point, we're going to talk about pedagogical competence, and this competence is the most important of, because in this point we can find how can we learning our students, how can they learn for themselves alone without help, for example the teacher, the tutors, or our other classmates. Yes, the most important, Paraguay, yes, but they can do it alone, they can do a student alone. Yes, for example, I really like an innovation moment. For example, it's say here, good, effective, and interactive learning can be proposed for a student, and good learning for their developed through TIC and also implemented real-active, and what has been learned inside and outside the classroom and improved have a good develop. And the real life, they can find, for example, many solutions in their real life. Yes, for example, if they have got some problems, the pedagogical competence is a good point, but they helps and for everyone. Yes, for example, it said here, and instead we can find out how can we strike our teaching and learning process in effective way using antique and adequate, knowledgeable, and professional way. And for that reason, the pedagogical competence is the most important. Yes.
Now we're going to talk about the explorative and the communicative part. So we're going to talk about the multiple languages synchronously and asynchronously to king when you are in each of the competitions. So you first need to understand and integrate the part of integrative. That is, evaluate the relevance of sharing information through channels, public and massive, respecting property rules, intellectual and licensing. We actively participate in networks, communities of practice mediated by ICT. We facilitate the participation of our students in them. So we need to make their students to know that it's a relevant one, a respectful one. We try to promote in our community the educational communication effective, that we contribute to improvement. That means the coexistence of processes in the school. Check all verbal expressions that we are going to apply. We need to recollect that competences that can be developed independently and that you can be at different times in each of the competitions. So if you optate to have a more general conception of the moment you are in, proceed to the location at times. So the innovative moment, that is another moment that is going to happen, is what we make the interpretation and produce all the symbols, all the figures of the icons and the other forms of representation that the information have. So to be used for purposes educational. So we contribute with that kind of knowledge, and the students and the repositories and in the internet with texts of different kind of nature. So we evaluate the relevance of sharing information through channels, public and massive, respecting property rules. So
the management competence is just the ability or the capacity we have to use the ICT tools in a lesson plan or in our management processes or assessment processes, etc. And we can combine too with our pedagogical practice. So this is designed in three, like a kind of triangle in three parts. So the last one is going to be the part is connected with the next competences. There are four. So the first one is going to organize some activities and how to do in a professional way and the uses of the ICT tools. So we are going to identify some elements or some aspects could be important and could be developed in our lesson plans or in our institution. So we are knowing about some politics and privacy of students. So in this part, we will identify some needs we have in a professional way or development and the uses of the ICT. The second one is going to be integrate the ICT in the processes of the administration of directive gestions, academic, administrative, and of course connected with our institution. So in this part we're going to propose and we're going to develop some processes about how to improve and to follow up the ICT tools and the use of. So we are going to select and to choose some programs about how to form appropriate about the needs we have. And the last one is to perform and to lead the actions to optimize the processes. So we are going to evaluate the benefits.
Hello everyone, my name is Joan Alvarez and I am going to talk about investigative competence, okay? This competence is defined as the ability to use ICT for the transformation of knowledge and the generation of new knowledge. And this competence is divided into three moments. The first moment is the exploring. I document observation of my environment and my practice with the support of ICT. I identify network database and source of information that facilitate my research process. I can search, sort, filter, connect, and analyze the information available on internet. The second moment is the integrator. I represent and interpret data and information from my research in various digital formats. I use professional network and specialized platform in development of my research. I contrast, analyze with my student information from multiple digital sources. And the third moment is the innovative, okay? I disseminate the results of research using the tool offered by ICT. I actively participate in networks and communities of practice for the collective construction of knowledge with the student and colleagues with the support of ICT. I use the information available on internet with a critical and reflective attitude. And ICT skill reflection in technological competence. I identify the characteristics, uses, and opportunities offered by technological tools and audiovisual media in educational process. And in the pedagogical competence, I encourage autonomous learning and collaborative learning support by ICT in my student. And in competence communicative, I communicative adequacy when my students and their families, my colleagues, and research using ICT. And its management competence, I identify my professional development needs for the educational environment. Educational innovation with ICT.